I'm John McQuay with 8541 Tactical, and today we're going to talk about the Stake and Shoot popper target from Challenge Targets. This is a really cool target system that makes setup at the range very fast. First of all, let's cover the construction of the target. The actual target plate itself up here is constructed of 3/8 inch AR500 steel, and the steel plate has been laser cut. Laser cutting is a great way to cut steel plates because it keeps that heat right at the edge. It doesn't allow it to bleed into the target and mess up your heat treating. So still right up to the edge of the target, you should have a very hard target and not have any problems with the bullet deforming the target. The novel portion of this target comes down here at the base. It's a very simple spring back mechanism that allows the target to flex and allows that front to come back when you shoot the target. When you get the target in the box, it comes disassembled. Assembly is very simple. You take the two included carriage bolts and you stick them through the front of the target so they're protruding. You drop these two red springs on. You set the stake assembly on with the curve facing towards the back, and then you tighten down the two included lock nuts until you have 1/16 inch of the carriage bolt showing. That provides enough room on the springs to get your flex to allow the target to move. Gets everything together, and now you're ready to go to the range. When you get out at the range, all you have to do to set the target up is just grab it out of the truck, jam it into the ground, and you're ready to go. If you got soft ground, you may be able to just step on the stake and push it in. If the ground's harder like it was when we went out to test this target, you may need to take a hammer, and they provide this really nice gusseted face here to be able to hammer on without causing any damage to the stake at all. Now, one of the reasons that I really like the Challenge Targets Stake and Shoot popper is because there aren't a whole lot of failure points on this target. The most exposed area on the target are the two carriage bolts right here, and they are very far down here at the bottom of the target, so you really have to wing one low from your point of aim to be able to actually cause damage to the target. Now, if you do have that friend who ends up breaking your stuff all the time, and he manages to put a bullet right through that carriage bolt, it's going to blow the carriage bolt out of the target. It's probably going to shear the face off. It may actually punch it all the way through, but carriage bolts are very cheap. Go to your local hardware store, pick up a couple. If you know you have that friend coming to shoot with you, make sure you have a pair of pliers, a punch, and a hammer to be able to repair the target, and it should take you less than 5 minutes to get the target back up and running if the worst happens. Now, the only other failure point we can see on this target is the stake itself down here. Now, I recommend when you set this into the ground that you drive it in until the front strike face of the target is almost touching the ground. That way it gives a very minimum gap for a bullet to go through. Now, if again you've got that friend and he sends a bullet low and skips it right underneath the plate, then it may end up going through the stake itself. Should it do so, it's probably not going to take your target out of commission. It's just going to take a bite out of the stake. You'll have to take it to somebody, have it welded up afterwards or ground smooth or something, but I seriously doubt you're actually going to cause any damage to the stake itself. Since the stake is not armor plated, then if you need to weld a patch into it, it's fairly easy to do so. Now, Challenge Targets offers a 1-year limited warranty on their targets for workmanship, but obviously, if you put a bullet where a bullet wasn't supposed to go and you tear up the target, that's going to be on you. And that's pretty standard across the board with steel target manufacturers. Now, Challenge Targets recommends that these targets are used with rifles that have a muzzle velocity of less than 3,100 foot per second, and they have this really neat chart on the side of the box that shows you what your minimum shooting distance should be for different calibers. Now, we don't generally recommend shooting steel targets at less than 100 yards because regardless of damage that you might cause to the target, you have to worry about splash coming off the target and possibly hurting someone on the shooting line. So 100 yards really should be considered the minimum for rifle steel. Now, you can get in a little bit closer when you're shooting pistol because the loads are a whole lot lower velocity, a whole lot lower energy. But to test this target out, we decided to go set it out at 50 yards because I really wanted to stress out the mechanism down here. I really want to bang on this target quite a bit. And we set it out at 50 yards. We grabbed the Mega Arms Ma 10 with the 16-inch barrel. It's a 308. We loaded it up with some Southwest Ammo SW118 LR, which uses 175 grain Sierra Match King. That stuff's going about 2,400 foot per second out of the 16-inch barrel. So it's not a blazing fast round, but it's enough that we put some shock into the base. And the reason I went with the Ma 10 is because we can engage the target very fast. We tried to get some double taps in to where I hit it while the target was still sprung back from the original shot. And we really didn't see any problems with the target mechanism at all, and we didn't really see any cratering at all. Now when you look at this, you may see what you think is cratering in the pictures and on the face. It really isn't. What it is it's lead that is stuck to the target face, so that's actually punched out. It's not dug into the steel strike face. Now we could have switched over to the 243 and shot it at 50 yards with a 243, and we would have dimpled the steel face. That's just sheer mechanics. AR-500 steel, when you hit it with a very high velocity round, 3,000 foot per second or so at close range, you will dimple it. It doesn't matter if it's challenge targets, if it's LV steel targets, any of the other targets. Every single target that we shot very close range with 223 or 243, we've dimpled the face of the target. That's just life. Don't shoot high velocity rounds close in. Making a minimum of 100 yards. Even at 100 yards, you'll get a very tiny dimple on it from 223 or 243, but it really doesn't harm the target at all. There are a couple of nice features that will make this a really long-lasting target, and one of which is the strike face here is reversible. So should you shoot this thing for years and years and end up getting the face a little pop marked because you were shooting it too close, or you're shooting it with really high caliber rounds, or say you take this thing out and beat it up with a 338 or constantly shooting 300 Win Mag on it and it starts to take a little bit of a bend, well, then you can take these bolts out, you can flip the strike face the other direction, put the bolts back in, and get a little bit more life out of this plate. Overall, there's not a lot to fail on it. It is a very, very good target. The list price on this target is $139.99. It weighs about 13 pounds, so it's really easy to take out to the range and set up. And it lays fairly flat, so even if you have a small compact vehicle, you can drop these in the trunk and you can stack quite a few of them in there. You can probably fit more of these in the back of a compact car than the car would actually be able to carry. So overall, it's great. Now, Challenge Targets does have a neat deal going for our viewers. If you guys want to pick up one of these targets right now, until the end of March 2014, they are offering free shipping on these targets, and that's only on the Stake and Shoot poppers, the 8-inch popper. And we'll leave a link down below in the description where you can go to pick those up. Now, there's no special discount codes or anything when you put it in your cart and check out. They just won't charge you shipping for it. Now, in addition to that, Challenge Targets is also giving away one of these 8-inch Stake and Shoot poppers to one of our viewers. So we'll leave a link to register for that down below, and the drawing on that is going to be on March 31st. So make sure you jump on over there and you register and you get set for that to win one of these targets. Now, the target comes as you see it right here, unpainted. They do include these nifty little Birchwood Casey stickers to put on the face of it, but obviously we didn't do that because if you're shooting rifles at it, you're just going to blow that sticker off really quickly. So if you want to paint it, shoot it with some spray paint. I've been leaving them raw like this because a lot of the competitions we've been going to have not been painting their targets or have not been painting them between squads, so you end up having to shoot gray targets anyway. Makes it a little bit more difficult to find them, so in my training I want to key in on gray targets, not brightly painted targets. So that's the reason I've been leaving it like this. If you're worried about corrosion, I suggest you go ahead and paint the back of the target. Leave the front of it plain though, because if it does start to get any surface rust, you're going to blow that surface rust off the first time you go out and shoot it anyway. Overall, we can give the Challenge Targets Stake and Shoot 8-inch popper a thumbs up. They have these in a 6-inch variety and also a 6-inch Colt speed plate if you want something a little bit smaller. Really good target design. I think it's going to last quite a bit of time, and you really just cannot beat the ease of setup on this. Just taking it out, jamming it in the ground, and being ready to go. If you guys have any questions or comments about the Challenge Target Stake and Shoot 8-inch popper, please leave them in the comment section below or send them to us on Facebook or Twitter. If you like the video, please like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, get out and shoot!